Hey there, internets. This is Kyle with another edition of the My Business Launch Secrets YouTube channel, a channel dedicated to one dude starting a new online business and trying to get from $0 to $1 million within the course of a year. We're on day 112 of this journey. These videos are more so intended for my own accountability to myself, more or less. I committed to trying to make steady progress each and every day towards reaching these goals, and recording a video, forcing myself to actually put myself out there on the internets is just one piece of me trying to stick with that and go forth. So therefore, these videos are not super polished for high production value, entertainment value, etc. There's a handful of people that ever will find these videos in the history of the internet, and that's completely fine because it's more for, again, my own purposes of wanting to document the journey that I'm on. Hopefully this is something I can look back once I've got to $1 million, $10 million, $100 million at some point later on in my life, and can view these as a resource to maybe write a book someday. I don't know, whatever. I did, unfortunately, I have to skip a day yesterday. I didn't have to do anything, but I chose to skip a day because I chose to go to freaking sleep or much earlier than usual, which was amazing. So I don't regret that. And, we're just at the end of the week here. Today's Saturday, so yesterday was Friday. It was, not too busy day at work, although yesterday I did have another interview. I guess this is interview number four in a job that I've mentioned in the past. And so interview number four, just with another member of the team that I would be working with, and was somebody who I guess would kind of be my equivalent, but just working in a slightly different area, a different product line, if you will. So anyway, he had some good perspective just of what the job actually entails and what the expectations are and all that sort of stuff. But good discussion overall. I think there was a couple. It's always good when you find like points of connection with a random person that you're just having some interview with, and it turns out that various people I've worked with in the past, like he had worked with on different projects, even though him and I had never worked at the same company or for the same organization, but just anyway, there were a variety of touch points, and so we were just kind of, it's good to highlight that, yeah, I know that guy, and hey, do you know this guy? And oh yeah, I worked with him, whatever. So therefore, you're making yourself more relatable to the person that's going to have at least some level of influence over the decision to hire you into the team. So with that, I'm kind of feeling pretty confident, I guess you could say, in terms of the prospect of getting an offer for that job. Still not necessarily like 100% sold on what exactly I should do if I am given an offer. A lot of it will depend on, what actually the offer is, compensation-wise and whatnot, in which case, there might be a few different levels of response. One from being, oh, this is just a super lowball thing. They're not going to get anywhere near what I was looking for, so I probably should just move on. Opposite end of the spectrum, oh, they're going to pay me like shit tons more money, and it's a job that I think I'd really enjoy doing. Yes, with the negative of like I'd have to do more traveling, but those two big positives outweigh the one negative, so yeah, should just go for this. And then probably, it could be something in the middle where the pay is, maybe comparable to what I'm making, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more even. In that case, it would really be just weighing if I felt that it was the right time in my career to make the kind of move that it is. I haven't talked about specifically what I do or what this new job is, because I don't really care to get into those details on this channel. I more so just share this because this is stuff that's going on in my life, and I guess you could say this is more so a video diary of the guy that's talking into the camera right now. So anyway, that's been going on. That's, after working all day and had that interview kind of in the evening time, because time zone wise, it was still working day for them compared to where I am, and then just hanging out with the family and getting dinner for the kids, getting the kids put down, and I was just like exhausted, and just decided to call it quits early. So today's Saturday, and more opportunity to hang out with the family. I was over at my mom's house helping her with some things that she needed to get fixed up around her place, so that went well. Went to church this evening, dinner with the family, came home and have actually been working here for past, few hours once got the kids to bed and my wife was getting ready for bed and all that stuff. Although unfortunately not been able to do any work really on the online business. Fortunately as the week went on and I did spend some time over the course of the week working on different pages. That meant that I didn't have time to kind of do some of my more basic routine types of tasks, like just being sure I'm capturing all the bills that are coming through my email and making sure all the bills are paid on time. And I'm pretty active in managing my finances, and so I kind of track it in a variety of ways. And so just being sure everything was in sync, and I was kind of having good awareness of where exactly I'm at on the finances. And then in particular today, I did finalize a deal to sell a rental property. Just went active on the market, 2 days ago, I guess, and already got a pretty solid offer, all cash deal, no appraisal required. Kind of the main concern I had, given where I priced it, wasn't really sure if an appraisal would actually come back at that number, even though I do believe the price I had it is in line with kind of the market today. But see, the problem is in real estate, when the market is like going up pretty quickly, but appraisers have to look at historical values, and so they'll just try to find comparable properties to the one that you are selling. And usually they're only looking at like size of the property, like square footage, as opposed to, and I'm talking about like for smaller rental properties, and when you get it more into big commercial apartment building stuff, things are definitely different. But for smaller 4 units and under kind of deals, they're just looking for comparable properties. And again, they're looking mainly at square footage. They're saying, oh, there's this 4-unit building that's 2,400 square foot. That's similar to the one you've got that you're selling. And therefore, I'm going to appraise your property basically in line with this other property. And of course, they'll maybe find one that was bigger than yours that was sold 6 months ago. And of course, then they'll sort of discount the value they'll give yours relative to how much that the larger one sold for, again, to make up the difference of the size of the property. Anyway, bottom line, based on what I am able to find out, just through public domain in terms of what types of properties have sold in recent months, I definitely had some concern about how a typical appraisal would come back in terms of the value, especially considering I did just have this property appraised a little over a year ago so I could do a cash out refinance. And even though it did work out in my favor, just in the fact that I was able to get cash out and pay myself back for some of the remodeling that I had done, it was like nothing near the value that I believed it should have been priced at or valued at, because I was looking at it more from as an investor, and I'm counting on, I'm looking at the rent and the cash flow of these properties. So that means, what is my rents? What are my operating expenses? The difference between those is my net operating income, subtract off then your mortgage payment, then you more or less got what's your actual cash flow month to month from that property. So as I looked at it through that lens, compared to other properties that like maybe they were same size, but they were renting for like half of what I was renting for. So immediately I would say, well, sure, if that one over there, maybe just throwing out numbers here, sold for $100,000, but their rents are half, I would say mine should be worth $200,000, right? Because I'm getting double the amount of income. But again, that's not the way appraisers look at these types of properties. So, the bottom line was I was concerned, again, pricing things where I did, that if I had somebody that needed to get a loan, which would have then required an appraisal, that the appraisal might have come under, and if that individual did not have the additional cash that they were willing to put over and above what the bank would lend them, because the bank's only going to lend them based on the value of the appraisal. So sure, somebody could come in and say, oh, well, if there's this $20,000 delta between what the bank's going to loan me versus what I said I want to pay for it, that's fine. I'm going to still pay you that difference, which maybe, I know there are people out there that would do that, but that's not typically what would happen in that case. Typically the buyer would just say, oh, well, the appraisal came out at this number, so thus my bank is only going to lend me that much money. Either you agree to drop the price to the appraised price, or I'm just walking away from the deal. And then I'm kind of screwed, because then I've been like sitting around for like a month, waiting for all this stuff to process. And then at the end of the day, after a month of being off the market, now I might have to put it back on the market, and then that doesn't really look good, etc. So anyway, even though I did have a couple offers that would have, again, required an appraisal, I ended up getting one that no appraisal required. Out-of-state investor, I'm pretty sure they kind of, they saw the financials that I provided, they could see that, everything is pretty solid in terms of it's kind of more or less a turnkey property. And even though I don't think, I am charging a lot, so frankly, the cash flows aren't like spectacular on it for somebody that's paying the price that I was asking for. But compared to, again, what you can actually get out there on the market today, it's actually pretty good. Pretty good deal, I would say, especially for somebody coming from out of state. And I don't exactly know where this guy's from. I think somewhere like up in the Northwest where, probably comparable 4-unit buildings up there, probably double or triple the cost of what this one costs down here where I'm out in the southeast part of the country. So that's what I was counting on, more or less, was, again, trying to find one of those out-of-state folks with deep pockets and who's willing to move quick and get the deal done. And that's happened to be what happened. So fortunate in that regard, but, stay tuned. Still have to go through some sort of inspections, whatever. Hopefully this guy's not like a dick and finds one little thing and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to back out now. It doesn't seem like that's going to be. So with that, I don't frankly have too much more to say today. Keep it a little bit shorter, and I'm getting tired. It's now past midnight after going through a bunch of finances, because that's the whole thing. Now that I'd finalized the real estate deal, I was kind of going back over the numbers of starting to make a plan for after I sell it, where do I want to reallocate, reinvest some of those proceeds. I do have some debts that I need to pay off, but really looking to reinvest it in something a bit more passive, aka the stock market, just because I'm, again, made the decision that maintaining a rental property right now, with just a lot of things going on in my life, even if I had managed to find a decent property manager, which was probably not going to happen because I'd already done the research there, and most of the property managers around here are crap. But even if I had found somebody, again, still would have been having to deal with potential issues that pop up on occasion, and just wanted to get out of that. That was my decision. I'm going to pay the taxes on the capital gains that I got from that property, and that's going to suck. It's going to be a lot of money, but even after paying taxes, I've still made out very well. So I'm happy overall still, regardless of everything, and it's ready to move on to what the next thing is. So that was what I was spending tonight thinking about, planning, etc. With that, hope you're all doing well. Keep on kicking ass, taking names. I'll see you next time. Peace.